The shattered remnants of the box crunched underfoot as Emma, Sophie, Tom, and a barely conscious Jake gathered themselves. Jake groaned, his hand reaching for his head as he slowly sat up. "Jake, are you okay?" Sophie asked, her voice shaky but filled with relief. Jake blinked, his eyes struggling to focus. "What? Where am I?" he muttered, his voice weak. "The last thing I remember is that clown." "You're safe now," Emma said, though she wasn't entirely sure how true that was. The guttural growl that had echoed through the maze moments earlier still reverberated in her ears. "But we need to move. Something's coming." With a grunt, Jake tried to stand, his legs unsteady. Tom and Sophie each grabbed an arm, helping him up. "What happened? How long was I gone?" Jake asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. "There's no time to explain," Tom said quickly, focused nervously on the maze's dim corridors. "We need to get out of here before whatever that was finds us." Emma led the way, retracing their steps through the mirror maze. All of the mirrors now shone the friends' reflections accurately. What was moments ago a distorted nightmare was now just a normal carnival mirror maze. The air was still thick with anxiety. The friends expected to see creeping shadows or see twisted reflections, but nothing. Just a normal mirror maze. Every so often, they could hear the faint laughter of something lurking nearby, but the friends had become so desensitized that they ignored it. Somehow, they'd successfully made their way to the beginning of the maze. They emerged, breathing a collective sigh of relief as they stepped back into the open, dank air of the carnival grounds. But the sense of safety was fleeting. The wind picked up, carrying with it a low, ominous hum that made the hairs on the back of Emma's neck stand on end. Trying to fill Jake in on all that had happened, Sophie whispered, "This place, it's alive." She began clutching her charm tightly. "It's like it's watching us." "It is," Emma said grimly, "and it's been cursed for years. That's why everything is happening." They gathered near a dilapidated game stall, away from the immediate dangers of the attractions. Emma pulled out the diary once more, flipping through its worn pages. There had to be something more here, something they needed to know if they were going to survive. As she scanned the entries, her eyes landed on a new passage, the ink smudged, as if written in haste. The handwriting wasn't Patch's, and it looked different from previous entries. "This isn't an entry from Patch's," Emma said quietly. "Someone else wrote this." Her voice trembled slightly as she began reading aloud. "We believed we could control the darkness, that we could use it for our own gain. But we were wrong. The power we called upon devoured us, twisted everything we thought we knew. The symbols you have seen, they appeared at the places where the ritual fractured, where the darkness now seeps the deepest. The symbols are guarded by my fellow spirits, but the diary, present at the ritual, binds them. With each symbol, the diary changes, bringing you closer to the truth. There are 2 symbols yet to be seen. When the final mark is witnessed, that cursed page will reveal the ritual in full. You must reverse it." Emma stopped reading, and silence fell over the group. The words hung heavy in the air, their weight almost unbearable. These must be the words of a guilty conscience. Someone who took part in the cursing of this carnival, now trying to atone and help us free them all. It looks like there is a little more here. But beware. The curse cannot be lifted without a sacrifice. This is why Patches continues to hunt you. He believes a sacrifice alone can free him of this torment. His spirit is powerful, but is too far gone. One life must be given to restore balance, to undo the damage we caused. The darkness will demand it. A sacrifice? Sophie's voice was barely a whisper. "You mean one of us has to die?" Emma's hand trembled as she closed the diary. Jake shook his head, pale and shaking. "That can't be right. There has to be another way." Tom's face was set with grim determination. No way. We're not sacrificing anyone. We'll figure out another way. Emma's mind raced as she thought through the possibilities. There's always another way. We just need to find these last symbols. Once we have it, the diary will reveal everything. The last page will show us the ritual, and hopefully we'll know how to reverse it. We'll find a loophole. We have to. The wind rustled through the carnival, bringing with it the faint, eerie sound of distant laughter. Patches, somewhere in the dark, waiting. Tom shone his flashlight down the path, illuminating the outline of a building in the distance. The letters on the sign were faded, but still legible. Haunted house. "Is that—" Sophie began, her voice trailing off. The diary started pulsing. "Of course there's a symbol in there," Jake said sarcastically, trying to hide the nervousness in his voice. Sophie's face went pale. "So that's where we have to go next?" Emma nodded. "Yes, we've come this far and seen some weird and unexplainable things. A haunted house should be no problem for us at this point." Jake sighed, rubbing his temples. "Great, just wonderful. A haunted house inside of a haunted carnival." Emma held up the diary, pointing to the cover. "Let's go find this place, find that symbol, and hopefully we'll get another clue from our guilty spirit friend." The group nervously walked off down the dimly moonlit path, the haunted house off in the distance. How much more of this could they take, knowing Patches couldn't be far behind?